Hey, it's the All Systems Go Home podcast experience. This is where you go if you want to hear the All Systems Go people talking, because we can't do a regular show right now. This is what we got, and we're loving it. I'm Jeremy Farbman, and we've got some fun panelists here today. We've got Kyle Eads.
That's me.
We've got Dan Snyder.
I'm ripping my shirt off right now.
And we've got the fully clothed Darian Bolin.
I'm not wearing socks.
Oh. It's okay. It's an ongoing theme of this show with someone either losing an article of clothing or gaining somebody else's. Kyle, I would still like my pants back sometime, please.
Anyway, moving on.
You're gonna keep those. Yeah, so why don't we kick it off with a good old Power Rangers update? It's been a while.
Copyright strike. So, life update on me before we get into Power Rangers. I got a job, so life has been, pretty crazy. So I don't have as much time to devote to Power Rangers as I'd like. So I've only had one series to talk about. And I believe that is Power Rangers Jungle Fury. And so Power Rangers Jungle Fury, I think is a solid 3 up there with some of the best that Power Rangers has. Up there, Dino Thunder, Time Force, and Jungle Fury. I think it encapsulates the best of each of, you got your Disney, not Disney, your Saban era classic storytelling. You got your early Disney, where it's a mix of the two, and then you got more of a later Disney season. We have yet to see the great. I have yet to watch any of the seasons in the new Saban era / Hasbro, because now they own it. But Jungle Fury is great. I think after the lulls that are Mystic Force and RPM, it's a good palate cleanser, and maybe that's why I like it so much. But it's like every character is likable. You enjoy the experience of the show. Just like they took all of the things they added that weren't working, cut it away, and just, hey, this is Power Rangers again. And the action is good because it's more kung fu based instead of like your lasers and explosions that you saw in other late Disney seasons. And it's just an overall, it's a fun experience. Everyone, even there are a lot of villains, I'll admit that, that come and go throughout the story, but it does tend to still focus on the two, the main villain. And he has a unique relationship with the Rangers, being possessed and a former friend to them. And yeah, it just plays with a lot of cool concepts, Rangers that aren't in their uniforms and being controlled, relationships like the mentor being a Ranger and the mentor. It's just a really fun overall season to watch.
So one thing that we haven't really asked is how many episodes are these seasons?
So the early seasons, the first, the classic Power Rangers, it's about 60 episodes a season, which is a ton. Yeah, those first 3 seasons are a ton to get through. And then cuts down to 40, 45. And now I'm at the point where it's 32 per season. It has been for the last few seasons. And then after the current season that I'm on, RPM, which is the last season that Disney ever made, before Saban bought out the franchise again. It goes back to 40 after that. Well, it's weird because after this season, which I'm on again, RPM, and Samurai, and then ones after that, it becomes 2 seasons of 20 episodes each, but it's one continuous story. Because when Nickelodeon said they're gonna air the show, they're like, hey, seasons are only 20 episodes, and that's all we're giving you. So do 2 seasons instead of 1. So it's weird, but yeah. So it goes 60, 40, 32, and then back to 40.
I gotta applaud you on your dedication to watching every single Power Rangers episode. How much longer do you have to go?
So I think it's really hard because, like I said, I have a job now. So even on my days off, I want to spend it relaxing. I don't want to sit in front of a computer. I want to spend it talking to friends, go out for a drive, something like that. So, but I have 1, 2, 3, 4, around 140, 150 left.
Wow.
That sounds like a big chunk, but it really isn't considering how much I've watched.
Are you including the movies too? 'Cause as of right now, it sounds like you have about 60 hours worth of television left.
It's 13 hours per season, basically. It's so I'm not including the movies. I might do like I what I want to always do with the movies. I want to watch it as a group with people and get like a full experience there.
Ooh.
But it's hard because the way the world is right now, getting people together in a group is really hard. I wonder if the movie's on Netflix.
That's why we make projectors.
That's why there's apps that let you do online watch parties.
Yeah, or you just watch the movie through someone else's window.
Next Netflix party, man. I mean, if you guys want to if we want to all get together and do like a mini pod where we watch a Power Rangers movie, I'll be down for that.
That could be fun, yeah.
And I know this was only briefly mentioned, behind the scenes. I'm going to spoil something for our audience. Kyle, what will your tattoo be once you're done with all the episodes? Which Power Ranger are you getting tattooed on your back?
Damn. As of right now, So my thing is,
I like how you're actually putting
amount of thought into this.
He's like drafted Rangers. Who's getting to the second round? It's a very in-depth process.
About getting a Power Ranger tattoo. I like the lightning bolt. I thought about it. I really did because I like. Yeah, no, dude, I love Power Rangers, man. I mean,
I would respect it. I would respect it.
But I guess that also asks the question: who's my favorite Power Ranger at this point so far?
It can be different between who's your favorite and who you want on your bod.
If I had to pick one Ranger, it'd probably be Tommy, and it'd be the original Green Ranger would be the one because there's so classic look to him.
The only Ranger who's still relevant outside of the Pink Ranger.
I don't even think she's relevant anymore. Well, actually, no. So
they both appeared in the Power Rangers movie. I mean, the only thing that people really truly remember from Power Rangers was how awesome the Green Ranger was, and then how awesome the Pink Ranger was for two totally different reasons.
So, what's weird is what season is it? I don't even remember what it is. I think it's one of the seasons. I think it's Lost Galaxy. The Yellow Ranger in that season has gone on to do other Nickelodeon shows playing like a motherly figure. I think she's in, or not, maybe it's Disney, but like she's in one of those like big family, I'm the mom of a crazy family type things. She's in that. So she's still working. She's one of the few Power Rangers. She's one of the few Power Rangers characters to still be have a career after doing Power Rangers. It's weird.
The Power Rangers curse, dude. Once you suit up, you can't get back out.
Well, what is it? There's a hard drive article, which is like The Onion, but for video games. That it's not actually written by Jason David Frank, the original Green Ranger, but it's a joke article where it's like how I turned my time playing the Green Ranger into a 30-year career of being known as the guy who played the Green Ranger.
Very good. Very good.
So it's a good bit.
So after you're done with all of the Power Rangers, do you plan to go back and watch any of Super Sentai?
So Sentai is what Power Rangers is based off of.
Okay.
I want to, there's so much like of that era, like that style, because there's Kamen Riders in there, Beetleborgs is there. It's I don't know. Like I want to check it out. I might watch like maybe like 5 episodes, but I have such a big like list of shows I have to watch. So
Now the Power Rangers, like obviously they keep making shows. There are new Power Rangers fans every year. It's a very relevant franchise even today. One franchise from the 90s that I would say is not relevant at all and really pretty much died on the vine is Duke Nukem. Darian, what can you tell us about him?
Duke Nukem, he is here to kick butt and chew bubblegum, and he is all out of gum.
I saw that movie.
Yeah, that's his big thing. And his Duke Nukem 3D has recently released on the Switch, and I've been playing it because that's just where I'm at in my life.
So
did you happen to play the latest Duke Nukem game?
Duke Nukem Forever. I also played that. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a game
Because it held up to all the hype.
You definitely press buttons to perform actions. There were definitely graphics and music and art and all that. There was definitely a video game.
Oh man, those are the best kinds of games.
Yeah.
So Darian, aside from this being sort of a, I guess you could say it's influential, Duke Nukem 3D. It's sort of in the vein of Doom and Wolfenstein. Those old FPSs, and they keep releasing it, so there must be people who are still into it. So, what made you gravitate towards this release?
Because it was on sale for $5. And I had a very long road trip ahead of me, and I needed something to kill time. Like, hey, $5. This game seems like it has a lot of content. Why not?
and was it worth the $5?
Yes and no. Like gameplay wise, it's still good. There's like a lot of content in the release, but just like overall, it's definitely not a game that was meant to be played on like an actual controller.
Kyle.
Like it feels very like stiff to control with a controller. It's very much a product of the PC era of gaming.
I can imagine because, when I got Doom Eternal, it came with Doom 64, the remake, and that is like trying to put the Doom controls onto a controller. In this case, maybe the worst controller ever, the Nintendo 64. And
hey, take that back. The N64 controller was different and awesome.
It was outclassed heavily by the GameCube controller, but continue, Jeremy.
Yeah.
I just wanted to say that, yeah, I agree. When you transport something that was clearly built for a mouse and keyboard into a controller, it doesn't always work very well. Most of the times, I think it doesn't.
Yeah, I could definitely agree. Jumping from even Doom Eternal to Doom 64 was like hitting a brick wall of adjustments.
And like new Doom and new Wolfenstein, they work well on console because like now they're aware like, hey, people are going to be playing these with a controller, so let's try to like think about the fact that this is going to be a controller aiming. Like back then, they're just like mouse and keyboard. That's all they're ever going to play it on.
So also, explain this with me. Is Duke Nukem? You said Duke Nukem 3D, right?
Yes.
Is this the one that took forever to come out after they announced it?
No, that would be Duke Nukem Forever.
Yes.
Okay.
Which was announced in, I believe, like 97 and did not release until 2011.
Duke Nukem 3D is the one that made him a famous character. It's not his first game, but it's his most noteworthy one, I think.
Okay.
It's got all those good catchphrases, all those classic Duke-isms. They're all in there.
So Duke Nukem Forever was announced in 1997, and did not release until June 14th, 2011.
Yes. And then it saw the quickest price drop in video game history.
Yeah.
We went from being a full price game 1 week, and then the very next week, immediately half price, and it just kept on dropping from there.
I remember hearing stories of people like working at a GameStop who hadn't heard of Duke Nukem because it'd been that long since this game came out, and people had pre-orders, and they were coming in with like these old like receipts from 1997 being like, "Here, I have a. Can I get my copy?" Sir, that building is a Target now. What do you?
I'm just imagining like people coming in like 5 years with like a receipt for Beyond Good and Evil 2. And they're like, oh, GameStop went out of business in the time between when you placed your pre-order and now.
Like, imagine holding a receipt for that long. At some point in that 14 years, you have to just cut your losses and be like, this ain't coming out. I'm throwing this away. It's all brown and smells like old paper.
It's like you hand them the receipt and they're like, what the hell is an EB Games?
So Darian, I know you said you're enjoying the game overall, but are you finding the humor is holding up? Because, Duke Nukem is a, say what you will about him, but he's a character of his time, I think.
Yeah. Like in the first couple levels when you're hearing a lot of these like famous catchphrases, it's the moment like, hey, I've heard that phrase before. But then like the longer the game goes on, the humor just kind of like starts to grate a little more, because like it might have been revolutionary at the time, but now there's just like so much of that humor that it's just kind of like annoying at this point.
Yeah, I can see what you mean. Dan, I know you also consume a lot of older media. Do you tend to run into problems with that? Just like humor not holding up as well as it had, as well as it was when it came out?
Yes. I can't really think of too many things right off the top of my head at this moment. If you give me some time. I know I actually noticed that with a lot of old stand-up, because I was binging stand-up for a few days there, like just consuming everything I could. And I'm like, you know what? Let me go back to some like old classics. And just going through some of the older comedian stand-up, like I remember like being in tears, laughing so hard at that point in time. But as we've progressed as a society and become more mature, I guess is the word. A lot of old stand-up doesn't really hold the same weight, for sure. Movies. Can't really think of too many movies off the top of my head. I mean, The Lawnmower Man, we did a review on that a few episodes ago. That definitely doesn't really hold up to be culturally sensitive. Pumpkin, maybe? A movie with Christina Ricci where she falls in love with a mentally handicapped man. That probably wouldn't hold up.
The Johnny Knoxville movie.
Hey, man, Jackass is always great.
No. The one where because Johnny Knoxville, there's a movie where he pretends to be in the Special Olympics.
Oh yes, The Ringer. The Ringer. That movie
probably almost definitely doesn't hold up.
That wasn't even the 90s. That was like the early 2000s.
Yeah. Yeah, that was when.
With my luck, you're gonna tell me it came out like 2018.
Yeah, Knoxville. That's when he was trying to go for an acting career. Although I do have one movie where the comedy still holds up.
Airplane.
And what movie would that be, Dan?
Have y'all ever heard of some guy called James Carey?
No.
Yeah.
Any relation to Drew?
Did he play Dr. Robotnik in Sonic the Hedgehog?
No, that was Jim Carrey. That's a different guy.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry I made that mistake.
This is Carey with 3 R's.
Yes, 3 R's. And
not where you would think.
James with a G. James Carey. Anyways, I dipped into a movie that I haven't seen in forever and have been meaning to watch. And as I have been laid out on the floor with my feet up in the air, trying to recover from some sciatica, I hope none of you ever experienced that, but everyone does in their lifetime. For those of you who don't know what sciatica is, it is a pinched sciatic nerve in your lower back running down your leg. It's when your 2 of your vertebrae just decide, hey, man, let's beat up this disc right here. Oh, it has a nerve? Let's pinch it. And then you're pretty much like Christopher Reeves for like a week straight. So it's been fun. But Jim Carrey, the Cable Guy. Oh, man, the Cable Guy. A movie that was hot off the trails of other Jim Carrey classics such as The Mask and Dumb and Dumber and the Ace Ventura movies, including Batman Forever. The Cable Guy came out in 1996, starring one Mr. World-renowned Jim Carrey and Matthew Broderick. Now, Jim Carrey plays that of a cable guy who wants nothing more than to have a friend. And he really just has gone through life without learning social constructs or even what personal space is. After he goes and hooks up Matthew Broderick with some cable at his new apartment after losing his girlfriend, Matthew Broderick says, "Hey, bud, my friend says you can get all the movie channels for free if you, if I were to just drop this like 50 in your pocket." And Jim Carrey is like, "Hey, I'll hook you up and we're going to be friends." And Matthew Broderick doesn't want this. He just wanted like the free movies on cable. Well, Jim Carrey really goes above and beyond with his character. Apparently when they were shooting the movie, they were going for something that was in between the lines of a mixture of a stalker thriller along with a buddy comedy. So as weird as this is going to sound, think What About Bob meets Maniac. Flawless mixture. Apparently as they were shooting the movie, directed by none other than Ben Stiller. And Ben Stiller, everyone here knows who that is, right?
He's all over the place. I mean, he has like such a weird career, I think.
Yeah, like the first movie that I noticed that was directed by Ben Stiller was Tropic Thunder, and who doesn't love Tropic Thunder? But
lots
this movie,
of people actually, but continue.
Oh, that breaks my heart. Oh, that's probably another movie with some comedy that won't age well in the future. But I still love that movie. I like that. You need some bold steps in comedy sometimes.
But
anyway,
saying the R word is not a bold step.
It's
not a bold step.
It's punching down.
I got a fun fact that I could discuss with that later on. But anyways, back to Cable Guy. Apparently, as they were shooting this movie, they did a thing with Jim Carrey. They're like, okay, we're gonna shoot two different tones in these scenes. We're gonna shoot like the buddy comedy, the goofy comedy tone until we get the right take, and then we're gonna shoot a much darker, kind of unsettling tone for another take, and then we're just gonna combine the movie bits and pieces from there on. And apparently, they had to scrap a lot of the darker tone scenes with Jim Carrey because apparently it was very unsettling when they were reviewing the dailies. They were all great takes, but they realized that if they were going to use these darker takes that Jim brought to the set, that they were going to wind up with a completely different movie. A truly sinister presence was apparently seen within Jim Carrey's acting when he did like the unsettling takes. To the point where it was like actually starting to make test audiences very uncomfortable.
I wonder if that footage exists somewhere, like a director's cut or something.
Searched, and I cross my fingers that somebody finds it, because man, oh man, the movie's great. Jim Carrey becomes more obsessed with trying to become Matthew Broderick's friend to the point where you, as an audience member, just kind of go, "Damn, son." Kind of thrown off by his very mild, eccentric, oddball personality in the beginning, but really just are thrown off by his like psychopathic behavior towards the middle and end. It's a really good movie. Some excellent comedy in there. It really takes a look at like somebody who was like kind of like alone as a child. They go into his backstory. I'm going to spoil a bunch for you, but it goes into his backstory a little bit, and it's like he kind of was like a loner as a child, and TV raised him, and that's why he's so obsessed. And he has no grip with reality because, the reality is not in television. So it's a really good movie. A very interesting character study. I don't know why it does not receive as much praise as it should. Because even though this was like, it kind of threw audiences off because they were used to like, oh, it's Jim Carrey, Ace Ventura, goofy, wacky guy is going to talk out of his butthole. Apparently they weren't really expecting Jim Carrey to take that approach to the role. It was very unsettling. And
was this his first attempt at like a serious role? Because I know he did go through a period of that with stuff like The Truman Show and
yeah, it's definitely one of his first.
Out of his father's mind.
Yeah, those movies definitely came after. Like Truman Show came out in like 98, and this came out in like 96. Like I don't really know. Maybe I don't really know too many serious roles that he tried taking on. Maybe in Earth Girls Are Easy, he played a serious role.
The number 23, but that was in like the 2000s.
Yeah. Oh my God, I remember people were obsessed with that. But yeah, for something that only has like a 6.1 on IMDb, 54 on Rotten Tomatoes, 56 on Metacritic, I think this movie deserves a lot more praise than it gets. I highly recommend everyone to check it out.
Very cool.
Yeah,
You can't always trust the critics. They don't always know what they're talking about.
exactly. I second that opinion.
So does anyone else have? Yeah, sure. We can talk about my
Jeremy?
stuff. Yeah.
Jeremy, let's hear it.
I've just been playing a lot of Crash, man. It was on
A lot
sale.
of Crash or Crash Bandicoot.
Crash Bandicoot. Yeah.
Ooh,
No,
nice.
Crash the Disney ride. That's what it was.
What?
I know
It's
a
a
lot of
Disney ride.
obscure Disney rides. I've never heard of that one.
Crash. Oh, don't you play as like a crash test dummy? Like you're in a crash test dummy car.
Are you talking about
And it's
Test
like-
Track?
Oh, was that test? I thought it was called Crash.
No.
Oh well.
I mean,
look like
there
an
might be
idiot
a ride called Crash, but I haven't heard of it.
I'm thinking. I'm definitely thinking of Test Track. I was like
Test Track is really cool.
Okay.
I also have a story
Anyways.
about Test Track, but that's neither here or there. So yeah, it was on sale, and it's like, hey, it's the trilogy. It's 3 games for $20. I mean, you're losing money by not buying it, right? So I mean, this was not my first time playing these games because my first semester in college, my roommate and his girlfriend played the game a lot, and they would sometimes give the controller to me, and there's like, hey, can you get past this part? And those games are not lacking in challenge, I would say. And it pretty much kicked all of our asses. And
So you were basically like the big brother to your roommate.
no, I think we did about as well. But I don't know. I'm the sort of person who's like, I have to play through everything in order, whereas they were more liberated. They're like, oh no, Crash 1, we're not having fun with it. We're just going to go to number 2 and 3. And I was okay. So I've been playing through them, and I did the very foolish thing of getting the platinum trophy in Crash 1, which involves, 100% of the game as normal. And then for the remake trilogy, they added in time trials to 1 and 2. They were in 3, but they added them back. And those levels are not built for time trials. And it's kind of a nightmare sometimes because you have to get through the whole level on 1 life while going as fast as possible. And they weren't built for speed, they were built for patience. And the bonus level that they included as DLC was a level called Stormy Ascent that was cut from the original release because Naughty Dog thought it was too hard. And they were right. So when I was playing through it to get the level completion, it probably took like 30 or 40 lives, I would say. To do it all in 1 life under the time limit, and the time limit to get the trophy is like 4 minutes or something. It's ridiculous. It's not a short level. But it took me a literal entire day of my life of grinding out attempts and going insane. It's called the Insane Trilogy, so I guess that's, you get what you pay for.
You lived up to the title.
Yeah.
So like in the end, with all of that time investment, do you feel like it was worth it?
It's hard to say because, I mean, when you look at the trophy percentage and it says 0.3% of anyone has gotten this trophy, it makes me feel very arbitrarily proud of myself. That I was
It's a good feeling.
Yeah, that I was willing to put in the extra blood and sweat and tears. And it also means I didn't have to do one of the other levels of my choosing because it only counts for a certain number and the DLC is 1 extra. But yeah, I'd struggle to think which one I like more, Crash 1 or 2. The conventional wisdom is that Crash 2 is better because it adds a lot of stuff that was bad in the first game. But I'm the sort of person, I don't know if anyone else feels like this, but when it comes to 3D platformers, I think the more simple and the less, the fewer number of extra stuff, the better to me. Because,
What do you define as extra stuff?
Okay, so let me give an example.
You mean like how there's like 500 moons in Super Mario Odyssey, but you only need like 100 to actually like complete the game?
That's a totally different problem, but I agree with you with that. I'm talking about in Crash 3 especially, the number of just straightforward Crash platforming levels is a lot smaller, and there are vehicle levels and underwater levels and, like plane levels, motorcycle levels, and it's like, you know, they put him on a skateboard or whatever, and it's like, I mean, it's not what I'm here for, because I feel like, you know, when you're making a new game in a series every year, like they were back then, and they're like, well, we're kind of done with the basic gameplay style of this. We just add a bunch of stuff in so we can put new features on the box and sell more. And that's why I like Spyro 1 more than Spyro 2. Because, you know, Spyro 1 is just, hey, run around and get a bunch of gems and have a blast. And Spyro 2 is like, you gotta do all these collect-a-thon quests and, you know, burn 6 banners in the level, play this hockey minigame, pay this guy 800 gems for a new move. And it's like, I'm not here for that, man.
Okay, I see what you mean now. That makes sense.
Yeah.
I'd agree with that.
It's when it becomes a bit too grindy instead of being, you know, an adventure.
Yeah, or like when they shove in a bunch of extra playable characters that, you know, Sonic had that problem for a long time.
Donkey Kong 64.
I was just about to bring up Donkey Kong 64, and I believe like Banjo-Kazooie and Banjo-Tooie is. While I do not agree with, you know, the transition from the first to the second game being a grind fest, because I love both of them. Obviously, I know that is a huge opinion that a lot of people have. That the second game in the Banjo series just kind of
I think I agree with that sentiment. I mean, I love the first game. The first game is such a perfect example of what I'm talking about, where it's like, you know, just it's a collect-a-thon, but like the levels are so compartmentalized that it's really just more of like a, you know, do this in whatever order you want. And then Banjo-Tooie is like, you gotta backtrack all the time. You got to go between all these different worlds. These levels are huge for no reason. You just spend all your time running back and forth between different objectives.
Well, I will agree with you on some points that you have made. Like I said, I am a huge fan of the second game. It's undeniably true that there have been several times where I've had to backtrack quite a bit because there's one part that I can never remember. It requires me to use a move that I don't learn until way later on in the game. And I always wind up struggling, trying to figure out why I cannot progress in the game until I'm like, oh, yeah, that's right. They don't tell you that you learn how to do a certain move later on.
So you're not a fan of Metroidvanias then, are you?
Can't say that I am. And I also cannot say that I'm not, because I've only played, one Castlevania game and one Metroid game, and they were both older.
That's a whole I'd love to have that discussion on a different podcast, because like I've had so many ups and downs with that type of game.
That's good.
But yeah, I mean, Crash, you're not learning moves. I mean, you learn moves in like the third game, but you never have to like retroactively apply, with one exception, which is when you beat the game, you get the speed shoes, and that's what you need to do all the time trials properly. So you just got to run full speed in these levels. And it's like at some point it's like, well, I've done everything else in the game. Do I really need to do all these time trials? I think I might be okay. But yeah,
time trials. Does anyone else get annoyed by time trials?
Yeah, time trials stress me out.
Also, the content of GTA 5 has been enough to justify actually buying a game, because you're getting a ton of free DLC that is completely worth paying. Like is definitely worth a $5 here and there to do some of it.
So the thing with GTA 5 additions though is that you have to grind so long to be able to earn enough money to like even get close to like acquiring those things.
Yes, but Kyle, here's the thing. With GTA 5, all of that content, all of everything that they've given you since the game's release in 2013, 7 years ago, don't you think they could have come up with another game, GTA 6, or even a spin-off story?
Why bother?
I mean, they did do Red Dead Redemption 2.
You all know, no, and
that's not the same.
I'm gonna definitively answer your question, Dan. No,
all right, let's hear
because you don't play GTA 5 for the story. That's like, if you do, you're not playing GTA 5 the way everyone else on the planet does.
I don't go to the movies for the story. I go to the movies because it's free lighting in a very condensed area.
GTA 5 is not, it's about the content. So if you're getting a ton of free DLC every 2 months for a game you paid $60 for, you now buy how many months it's been. That game is probably worth $200 worth of content. Just
how much of that do you have to buy?
Huh?
How much content do you have to buy?
So if you pay $5, I don't know how much money it is to pay exactly, But like, if you spend an extra
Oh.
$10 every 4 months, it's worth it. I still think it's worth it.
Okay. I will
If you
take
treat
your
it
word
like a
because I have not
Netflix
played it.
subscription or something, I don't know.
I'm not even gonna lie. I looked up. I did a quick master Google search of GTA 5 total price, and I thought it was going to be something along the lines of like, you know how Dead or Alive 5 or Final Round, or even the train simulator game. Like if you add up everything that you can buy on Steam for that game, it comes out to be like over $1,000.
Oh yeah.
So the people who ask result under Google, how much would it cost to buy everything in GTA 5? And my jaw just hit the floor when I saw the answer was $703,307,823. And then I saw GTA dollars, and I'm like, oh, okay.
Yeah, that's GTA dollars.
Yeah, the GTA dollar inflation rate is out of control.
But
Which is why I say, like, if you spend $10 of real money, I think it's like 10 million, 50 million GTA bucks or whatever.
But that was still when you have to do that like 70 times.
Well,
But you
most
don't have
people
to do
aren't
that.
going to do all of the content. They're just going to do what they're interested in and then move on.
Yeah.
Right.
And besides, you don't need to do that like content. Like you earn a ton of money doing the content. Like those heists they have get you like $20 million or whatever. So you're not like it is like you're not paying $10 million in GTA dollars every different content. You're paying 5 and getting 20 back.
But see, the thing is, though, is that like as the game has gone on, they just keep like progressively nerfing how much money you can theoretically earn through just like doing events, and all for the sake of supporting the shark card economy. Like the entire game is just built around, hey, how can we get people to buy shark cards? Let's give them these expensive cars that they're going to need like $20 gajillion to buy. And
Are you saying shark car economy?
Shark card economy.
What is a shark card economy?
It's probably
shark card.
I believe
Shark cards is like you can spend real money to buy GTA money.
Oh.
So here's the thing. That's for somebody who's trying to unlock every single car, every single DLC.
That's probably someone who doesn't play many other games.
Yeah, as of 2018, it would actually cost you more than $4,500 to purchase every online GTA vehicle.
Yeah. That's a perfectionist right there.
Okay, so
this is more.
So
that's a whale.
So that previous price tag of $703 million is starting to look a lot more believable.
So, but here's the thing. You probably earn, I'd say, a third of that in game, like easily. And most people aren't playing GTA 5 to unlock. They're just playing it because it's a racing game now. That's what most people are playing GTA for. They're playing it for the mods, and they're playing it for the racing aspect and like the silly games.
Rockstar isn't expecting everyone to drop that amount of money. Obviously, they are expecting like 24 people to do it, and that's how they finance GTA 6 or whatever.
I'm sorry we went on this really weird tangent about GTA. I just think it's
Nicole
worth
is going to
the
have a
price
hard time timestamping this one, but that's okay.
Yeah, it's content.
It's also going to be really weird because like GTA 5, like we said, is a 8-year-old game, and it's still kind of relevant.
It's still topping the charts, yeah.
Yeah.
Apparently, the game has made more than $2 billion since it was released.
I believe it is the top grossing entertainment product of all time.
Yeah, it's like the third most sold game of all time behind
In your face, Endgame.
I believe it's behind Tetris and Wii Sports.
Right, but they made less money overall.
Yeah, because Wii Sports
They just
came
had
with the Wii.
Ooh, actually, I'm gonna be that know-it-all guy because I just looked it up. Let's do top 5. Top 5 most purchased video games. Okay, so coming in at number 5.
No. Let me guess.
Coming in at number 5. All right, number 6. Let's just set the bar here really quickly. Number 6, Super Mario Bros. Number 5, yes.
Okay.
For the original Nintendo system, Wii Fit comes in at number 7, and Pokemon Red, Green, Blue, and Yellow come in at number 6 or 7.
Okay.
Sorry. So from there, that's where you got your base. So number five.
Okay, the problem is guessing in order.
Okay, number 5. This game, I'll give you the year and a very one-off description. This game came out December 20th of 2017, and while this game itself became very popular, undoubtedly
it's Smash Ultimate.
Nope, undoubtedly the spin-off from this game became the most popular, world-renowned.
What year was it?
2017. This is a game that came out as a multi. That's the spin-off. What did it originate from?
Fortnite Save the World.
PUBG?
Yeah, PUBG.
Oh.
Yep. That's number 5. How about that? All right, number 4. Coming in at 2006, this game utilized the motion controls that were revolutionary. There you go.
Wii Sports.
Wii Sports is 4.
Yes, Wii Sports is number 4. Number 3. Okay, that was Tetris.
It feels disingenuous to. I mean, is that all the Tetrises or just like Game Boy Tetris?
Tetris released by EA in 2006, whereas Tetris from Nintendo coming out in 1989 takes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7,
so Game Boy
9.
Tetris.
It isn't. Yeah, Game Boy Tetris is in 9th place.
Okay.
Tetris for EA for mobile.
All right, so mobile Tetris, that makes some amount of sense.
Okay, yes.
Hang on.
Okay.
I don't agree with this list. What are you looking at? Wikipedia?
the free online encyclopedia that anyone can edit.
Yes. Well, number 2. Take a grandier guess at what number 2 is.
Fortnite.
No. Actually, Fortnite's not on this list, so you might want to question it.
Because Fortnite is free, so you can't.
Yeah, you can't technically buy.
Oh, that's fair. You know what? That's fair.
Yeah. Okay, so number 2, we were just talking about it.
Yeah, it's GTA then.
Okay, now if I had to ask you, and you're going to way overthink this game, but if I had to ask you what you think the number 1 selling game of all time is, what do you think it is?
Donkey Kong 64.
No, because before Fortnite took over the world and was everywhere, what was the game that came out in 2011 that dominated the world? It's still relevant today. It's still relevant to this day. Last year, it had a major boom again in popularity because of a certain YouTuber hitting 100 million.
Dota 2?
Minecraft
Minecraft
is. Yeah, over 200 million sales for Minecraft, dwarfing Grand Theft Auto 130 million.
Grand Theft Auto.
Yeah.
Thefts now.
If I had a guess, because I think like most played games is probably Minecraft, Fortnite, GTA 5, League of Legends, and I don't know what I'd put 5.
People put so much hours into Dota.
Yeah.
I feel like a Smash Brothers game has got to be in there somewhere. People are freaking nuts for Smash.
Super Smash Bros. Ultimate is towards the very bottom of this list.
Yeah.
With only 18 million.
Yeah.
Oh my god, even Nintendogs sold more than Super Smash Brothers.
I know. I mean, Mario Kart 8 Deluxe sold like 27 million, I think. Something like that.
Mario Kart 8.
That's another game that keeps getting on top of the bestseller list.
Yeah, 33 million.
Plus, like Animal Crossing New Horizons will probably get up there because it's been like pretty much constantly on like 1 or 2 on the bestsellers list since it came out in March.
But here's the thing, that's like that's a 1-year span. That game is gonna plateau because the amount of people that play Animal Crossing, like there's less appeal in an Animal Crossing game than there is. Oh, it's just Mario Kart. You're racing with your friends.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with you. Most people who would buy Animal Crossing probably have.
Yes.
It's been a while since we had a good old-fashioned video game argument. It feels good to like get that energy out there. Because we're going to have another gaming-heavy topic at the end of the episode. This will be a little interlude just to say that Nicole's Discord message shows that she's playing Baba Is You, and I hope she's very frustrated right now.
Baba is me?
Uh-huh.
Who is Baba?
Baba is, whatever you make him. That's the point of the game.
Baba is bacon?
I thought Baba Is You was like one of those isn't it a
Bubba
roguelike?
Is You. That's the game that's based off of Kite Runner.
It's a
Only the very slim audience that was forced to read Kite Runner 3 times will laugh at that joke because
That sounds like a traumatic memory.
Baba is the only character out of that entire book that's worth anything. I want a book based on Baba. I don't want a book based on the main character of Kite Runner. That guy was dumb. He was a scared pansy who absolutely ditched his best friend. Spoilers! Where Baba
Sounds
was
like a lot of
an
books.
amazing person. Yeah,
Is
anyways,
Kite Runner one
this
of
is
those books?
discussion time.
Is Kite Runner one of those books that like people read in middle school and early high school?
Yes.
Is that Kite Runner?
I've never
Yes.
heard of it, but it sounds like
If you guys didn't have to read it, then good for you, because I had to read it twice in high school and another 2 times in college, and I skipped the last time because I'm like, I know this book. I hate
I
it.
read it.
That's
This is a
fair.
bestseller.
See, there was that. It was Kite Runner, and then 13 Reasons Why with a big high school reads. Didn't read either of them because I was in honors, so we read. What did we read?
Hashtag humble brag over here. It's reading club.
For my next semester, I'm in like a few classes where we read books, which I haven't done since like freshman year.
Okay,
So
since we have taken this interlude from gaming, I'd like to invite you all to step with me into the music corner.
thank
Yes.
you for taking that segment from me. I mean, the segue from me. I didn't know what I was gonna do. Thank you.
I got it set up over here. It's got some tasteful wood paneling. There's a single
is this
record
free
player
punch?
set up. Yeah, it is free punch. I made it myself.
Wow.
Ooh, Jonestown flavor. I like it.
It's good.
So anyway, as of the time of recording this, it is July 1st, which means that it is halfway through the year. And
Oh my
so lately
gosh.
I have been going through and I've been doing a little list of my favorite albums of the year so far. I'd like to do a little rundown of those if you will allow me.
Please do.
Okay, let me just pull up my list here. I think I know
So
this. I wanna
before
make
you
sure I
do,
know.
what were your parameters for this? I mean, was it just all genres? Was it stuff from artists you are already interested in, or were you looking to expand your horizons, or what are we talking about?
I kind of deliver everything. Like I just sort of like kept a running like ranked list of everything I listened to this year. No matter like what genre, just like, hey, maybe that album will be good, and I list it either it's good or it's not good, and I just list it all anyway.
Fantastic.
Okay, so anyway, we'll start this off with an honorable mention, which is the new Car Seat Headrest album. It's called "Making a Door Less Open." This one I was excited for because Car Seat Headrest is my favorite band of all time, and
I was hoping for. So go ahead. No, finish your thing.
And I was really looking forward to this album, and I really wanted to love it, but I unfortunately do not love it. But I will admit that there are some really good songs on here, but just as an overall album, it's like kind of weak, and I'm a little disappointed. But there are some good songs.
Now, for every entry on this list, you need to do a 3 to 4 second impersonation of one of the songs. That's just the rule.
Okay.
But it can't be close enough that we get copyright stricken.
If it's just 3 seconds, it'll be fine.
Okay, here's a little segment from a song. All right, yeah, here's a brief segment from one of the songs of this Car Seat Headrest album.
Oh man, I'm hooked already.
Yeah.
That's a good kick. Yeah.
Yeah, Kyle can get his Power Rangers tattoo. I'm getting a car seat headrest tattoo.
So here's what I love. So I've never heard of Car Seat Headrest, but I love how different people, and this is all of music, like the band names that people listen to, just mwah.
Well, see, there's actually a really interesting story behind
Band names, man.
Yeah. Well, like the story behind the name is that like originally the band was just one person who was just making music, and to like have privacy, he would go record his albums like in the backseat of his car in like a parking lot somewhere, and so that's where the name came from.
Just like the Rolling Stones.
Yeah. Okay. Anyway, number 5 on the list is the new Charlie XCX album. It's called "How I'm Feeling Now." I love me some Charlie XCX because I am a watcher of Anthony Fantano on YouTube. So, and this album is good. Like it's pop music, but it's not bad pop music like most is. It's like it does interesting things. It has interesting sounds to it. So it doesn't feel like a generic like pop album.
What's our sample?
Oh man, that's a good question. There's so many freaking like juicy moments I could sample, but I cannot think right now. Plus, like it wouldn't be doing it justice because it's a very like sonically dense album. There's a lot of like little bleeps and bloops and bangs and dings and stuff all in there.
There it is. Bleep bloop ding ding. That's
Bleep,
the
there it is,
ding,
yeah.
dang.
I could be a fan of hers. I
just know her
Yeah.
from. I just know her from she did that song with Iggy Azalea.
She did, yeah.
Which one?
Fancy.
Fancy.
She did
okay.
the hook for Fancy.
God.
And she also did that boom clap song.
That boom clap song?
Yeah, I think it's just called Boom Clap.
What's next, Darian?
All right, next, number 4 on the list, fittingly enough, is Run the Jewels 4 by the band Run the Jewels.
I need to listen to Run the Jewels.
They stick with the PlayStation scheme of naming albums. All their albums are just numerical. It started with Run the Jewels 1 out, then it went 2, 3, 4. Next one will probably be 5, or maybe they'll call it 360. I don't know. But it's...
Run the Jewels Revolutions.
but this
Run the Jewels Vita.
But it is an extremely good album. It's very like topical for modern times and a lot of themes of like racism and police brutality and just the state of the world in general. That even though a lot of it was recorded last year, they still managed to create something that's shockingly relevant today. And there's truly no one doing it in hip hop like these two. They are very good.
Great. What's our sample?
Run the Jewels. You can always expect some good quality from them.
Yeah, they really run those jewels all the way to the finish line.
Yes.
Run the Jewels.
Run the Jewels.
Yeah, there was the samples right there. Those two just did the samples.
Well, I'm glad to hear it. Number 3, right?
Okay, yeah. Number 3 is the new album by Mr. Jeffrey Rosenstock. It's called No Dream in all caps because it's very emphatic. I love me some Jeff Rosenstock. He's one of my favorite artists. Not like my favorite, but he's definitely very much up there. This album is extremely good. He dropped it without warning, just in the middle of the week, and I lost my mind when I saw the tweet, and I immediately listened to it. It is a very, very, very good album.
Great. The sample.
See, sampling it would be not doing it justice. Just go listen to it instead of listening to me like haphazardly try to sample it.
All right, you win.
I don't want to ruin the album experience for people.
Fine. I mean, Darian, all you have to say is that you're nervous. Like, I understand. You don't have to make up excuses around here. We're all friends, so it's okay that you have stage fright. But you're number 2.
Would you like me to give you like a beat? See.
That beat is not even close to Jeff Rosenstock.
Okay.
I appreciate the effort, though. Thank you.
Well, at least we now have a sample of what Jeff Rosenstock does not sound like.
That is true. Yes. Okay. Number 2 is Punisher by Phoebe Bridgers. Phoebe Bridgers. She's really cranking them out. This is only her second album, and it is good enough to be like someone 10 years into a career. Like it is that good. I gave it like a solid 9 out of 10 on this website that I use to keep track of my music, and it deserves all 9 of those 10 points. Like it's not like a perfect album because there are very few albums that are actually perfect, but it is very, very close to perfect.
Very nice.
And number 1, the piece de resistance of music so far this year, and that I don't feasibly see anything beating, is the new Fiona Apple album. It's called Fetch the Bolt Cutters. She kept us waiting 8 years for this album, and it was very worth it. Somehow, 8 years. Her last album before this came out in 2012.
The Duke Nukem of music.
Except this one is not a disappointment.
Yeah, hopefully with better reception.
Like she followed up one of the best albums of last decade with like probably one of the best albums of this decade, and it's only like the first year of this decade. It's very like
Got it. So I gotta listen and find out who this person is.
Yeah.
I've heard a lot of buzz, but yeah.
Yeah, it has such a unique sound to it that really could only come from her because she just does so many creative things, not just with her voice, also with the music behind the voice. It's a very good album. Go listen to it. Go listen to all of these albums, actually. They're all good. I recommend them all.
Wonderful. I'm glad to have this type of content on the show. It's good to branch out.
Yes. Yes.
Can I have a submission to Darian?
Absolutely.
I think so. There's an artist I enjoy listening to known as Watsky.
Oh yes, Watsky.
Oh yes, I am aware of Watsky. Yes.
I just like to plug him. I think he makes good music, and he had an album come out this year.
He did, yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty good. It's pretty good.
Was supposed to go on tour, and I was supposed to be there, but sadly, the world said no.
See, my thing with Watsky is that like I recognize that he's definitely a talented rapper, but I feel like a lot of times he's let down by his instrumentals.
All right, so let's transition once again. Now, as you may know, the Steam Summer Sale happened. It may still be happening. And I got wiped out again. I just, I wasn't expecting it. I got completely blindsided. But it's like, it arranged it all by franchises. And it's like, yo, man, the Hitman franchise, the Witcher franchise. And it's like, I love a franchise, Valve. You're playing with my heart. I can't resist. Hitman. Love a good franchise. Love buying a trilogy.
I love Hitman.
Yeah, so we can get into it, but Kyle brought up the good topic of what is determining your backlog of games or whatever. Like what is Kyle, you explain it. I can't.
So you guys have your summer sale. I have the fact that I've been watching nothing but Power Rangers. So like I've been stunted on watching so many other great shows and like shows that I should have watched as a kid, but I didn't get a chance to. And you guys are buying all these games that you've never had a chance to play. And now with the quarantine, it should be the perfect time to get caught up on your backlog of games or your backlog of movies or your backlog of TV shows. So what is something that's on your backlog of whatever that you definitely, it should be the next thing on your list, but for some reason you haven't got to it yet, or you just think you never will really get to it?
That is a very long answer for me, so I'm going to throw it to Dan or Darian.
Why'd you have to do that to me, buddy? Darian, do you want to take this one right off the rip? Do you have anything in mind?
Sure, I'll try to take this one. Right. So right now I'm in the middle of Persona 5 still, and I probably will be for a while because I've heard it's a very long game, and I'm only like 35 hours at this point.
Such a good game.
You're not even halfway, dude.
Yeah, and after that, I would like to replay The Last of Us Remastered because I own that because it came with my PlayStation, and then from there hopefully move on to Last of Us 2, and then over on the Xbox I have all the Fallout New Vegas DLC, which I have never played. And I want to go play that. And then after that, to get some more of that good old Obsidian Games juice flowing through my veins, I want to replay the Outer Worlds to take like a different path through that. And then from there, there's probably like more that I'm not thinking of right now. Like I still haven't finished replaying the Kingdom Hearts franchise, so that'll probably be in there somewhere. I am just swamped with stuff.
Okay, but like, go ahead, Dan. Go ahead.
I was just going to comment on his, but if you have an actual opinion, go ahead.
Well, no, my thing was so you haven't played any of those games before?
He's played some of them, right?
Yeah, okay. I played some of them. Like I played original Last of Us like long ago, Kingdom Hearts long ago. I played Fallout New Vegas Space Gamer, not the DLC. I played Outer Worlds once. I'm gonna try to take like a different path through it.
So, but it was more like this: a question of like, what is something that's like is considered like an all-time great thing that is on your list? Like, I have to play this at some point that you haven't played that's on your backlog. That's more what I was going. Like, what's something you've never played that you want to?
So, Kyle, I've been struggling with my backlog for many years. So it all started, Steam sales and all that. It was getting out of control. There's this website called the Backloggery, and it's a place where you can, input all of your games into your own personal collection, so just keep track of them. And the object of the site is to shame you into playing games from your backlog, because you just have like this whole list of games that say you haven't played this, you haven't played that, you haven't played this.
Oh, that's real good.
But even that wasn't working. And then I got like super into emulation and like getting all these old games that like are either out of print or like prohibitively expensive, that I just always wanted to check out. So then I got into this program that I'm looking at now called Launchbox, and that like compiles all your Steam games, all your games from your Uplays, your Origins, all the stuff on your computer, all your emulation files. So right now it says I have 770 games, and this is only the stuff accessible through my computer. This is not counting any of the consoles or handhelds I have physically. So from those 770 games, I created a playlist, because it lets you make a bunch of playlists. And this playlist is called Games to Play Before I Die. And
that is a good thing to always do.
The object of this playlist
title,
go on.
Title goes on the assumption that you are going to die someday.
Right. So
You don't know Jeremy's gonna die until it happens.
Have you taken a step outside lately?
the criteria for games getting on this list is if I went up to someone and I said, "Hey, I haven't played X, Y, or Z," and they'd say, "What? You should." So I have like over 200 games on this Games to Play Before I Die playlist. And again, this is only stuff on my computer. But even that wasn't working. It's too many games, too much, too quickly. So in December last year, 2019, I made an Excel spreadsheet, and I gave myself homework. I literally said, okay, in January, I'm going to play Metal Gear Solid. In February, I'm going to play Metroid Prime. In March, I'm going to play Phoenix Wright. And I've just been going through that, making sure to get at least one thing off that backlog every month. Right now, I'm ahead. The next one is Metroid Fusion. And then, so what I did, like even the big old list, it wasn't working out. So I made a second playlist, and it's called Aha, the final list of gaming retribution. And I've organized this by priority. I made a custom field for all my games by priority. So right now, priority 1, this is what I was going to do before I got distracted by Crash and his stupid time trials, is Metroid Fusion and Dishonored. Because
Dishonored is so good.
I've never played Dishonored, but I got it for super cheap like 2 years ago, and I really want to give it a shot. So that's my extremely complex situation that I'll never be able to dig myself out of. But hey, I will say this, because there are less new games releasing this year because delays and real life being so freaky, it has given me a lot of extra space to sort of chip away at it. But I think a lot of progress was lost with this Steam sale, because I got all the old Hitman games that I haven't played, all the Witcher games, and then like all those old Dungeons and Dragons games, because I saw like a gameplay video for Baldur's Gate 3 coming out soon, and I was like, this looks cool. I want to play the old ones.
Yeah, dude.
And it's like, they're all super cheap in the Steam sale, but it's probably like 400 hours of gameplay combined. It's like, okay, cool, dude. Let's do it. Let's have those sit on a list somewhere in the Steam API. Let's do it.
I gotta commend you for your organization and your tactility.
The fact you made an Excel spreadsheet might be the most Jeremy thing I think you've ever
that's
done.
very Jeremy.
Yeah.
I think
love
that's
it.
a compliment.
It is. It very much is.
Yeah, go play Dishonored like immediately.
I reinstalled it last night, so a hair's
speaking of
breadth away.
Dishonored, and speaking of Dishonored, I'd like to go back to Kyle's question about like games that I have not played before that I've sort of considered like must plays. One of those is the original Thief franchise, because I know that Dishonored takes like a lot of DNA from that franchise, and I absolutely adore Dishonored. And also on that list is Shadow of the Colossus.
Oh yeah,
Ooh.
I've got that, and I haven't played it.
I own like the PS4 remake version, which I'm just gonna like call the same game, so I have to go freaking track down the old one. I like own it because they gave it away for free on PlayStation Plus. I just need to download it and play it.
Yeah, that's definitely one for me.
Ooh, those are good. Dan, what about you?
One game that I really want to complete before I die that I actually downloaded and I plan on playing it very soon here is Resident Evil 4 because I've never played Resident Evil 4 and I know
picked that up
was
in the sale as well.
What was that, Jeremy? Were you choking on something?
You good?
Yeah, I picked that up in the sale as well. You know, on its own, not part of a bundle or anything, but it was like, might as well.
Yeah, that's when they had all the Resident Evil games on sale on Switch. I was like, yeah, I'm gonna buy it. But yeah, I want to play Resident Evil 4. I want to beat it. I just finished Resident Evil 1 on Chris's campaign, and I looked at the Jill option to complete her campaign, and I was like, no. I feel like I've wasted a lot of time on this game. It was fun while it lasted, but I definitely don't need to grind all the way again.
So are you skipping 2 and 3?
I played the Resident Evil 2 remake. I do not feel like fudging with the tank controls on an N64, even though I have 2 copies for it on N64, and I have not beaten it on N64. But I beat the remake through and through, almost 100%ed it. Resident Evil 3, that one's just gonna have to wait. But I want to play Resident Evil 4, and I definitely want to play Resident Evil 6, just because of how ridiculous it is. When it comes to Steam games, I don't know why, but I just pulled up my Steam page, and while I definitely don't have over 700 games like somebody, Papers, Please and Lisa caught my eye.
Papers, Please is freaking fantastic.
Papers, Please is a
Please,
recent addition to my library because the creator put it on deep discount, and he said like all the proceeds are going to Black Lives Matter. So I said, okay, that's
nice.
I can
Very
support
nice.
that. That's neat.
Yeah, no, that's a great game, and it's saying that I have like 20 hours invested in here, but God, I feel like those 20 hours were almost just like all at once. Like I got hooked on that game, but I just never beat it. Like I could pull out. I'm sitting in front of my desk, and I still have all of the charts and information like prioritized, like big sheets rolled up almost like a blueprint. Like here's what you're going to be looking for just so I could complete the game. Like you become that much more efficient of a gatekeeper, checkpoint policeman, words, names, occupations. Lisa though is a very fun game. It is a depressing game, but it is fun. If anyone is familiar with the YouTuber Video Game Donkey, one of his longest and best videos actually has to deal with Lisa, and that's what got me hooked on the game. But
You're tearing me apart, Lisa.
You're tearing me apart, Lisa.
It's essentially a depressing version of Earthbound.
Yeah, it's super dark humor. It's super dark humor. It's
already
hilarious.
depressing.
Huh?
Earthbound has depressing undertones, but
Earthbound is
this
depressing, but,
eliminates.
it's ultimately optimistic.
This eliminates all the subtext, and it's The Last of Us
It's
by way
more-
of Earthbound.
It's more the Earthbound fans are just depressed. So
Yeah, like
And-
Earthbound has depressing elements, but it's ultimately like a very optimistic game.
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
And
Okay.
as for any other games, I can't really think of any right off the top of my head. Oh. Okay, I thought of a game. But for some reason I cannot think of the title of it right now. You're gonna have to give me 1 second. It's a military shooter
It's another guessing
Call of
game.
Duty.
that
Call of
came
Duty.
out in the mid 2000s.
Call of Duty.
No, it's not.
State of
Mercy.
Decay.
It's not. No, the ending has
Medal
been.
of Honor.
No, the ending has been slightly spoiled for me.
Is it Spec Ops?
State of Decay 2.
Spec Ops: The Line.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's I wasn't. Yes. Okay.
Yeah, that is
I heard
one
that's
game
great.
that I really want to play because I have heard nothing but how phenomenal the story is and how it was simply overlooked as a game because it was just dwarfed by the popularity of Call of Duty, of Battlefield, of Ninja Turtles.
Yeah. Spec Ops: The Line got like the short end of the stick in the military
Yeah.
shooter range, but it did
I
not.
heard-
It's a fantastic game.
I
Yeah.
heard though it has a great story and it's
Yeah,
arguably one of the, if not the best, story-wise.
That's
It's
all
a
I've ever heard.
military. It's a military shooter that is anti-military shooter.
Yeah, that's all I've ever heard, and that is probably the longest running game that I have wanted to play, but I've not gotten the chance to, or just simply sat down and dedicated myself to it. The game is still going. The last time I checked, it was years ago, and from what I remember, it was still going for like full price. full resale value.
I know, like a few months ago, they like gave it out for free, and that's how I got it on Steam.
What?
Yeah.
Send me your copy, please.
Give me your Steam password right now. Have you guys ever had, like, I know we all have backlog problems, but has there ever been something that just unexpectedly shoots to the top when it was kind of off your radar for a second, and then, you know, someone just recommends something, or you see something somewhere, and it's like, all of a sudden that becomes your priority?
Dubstep.
Just not a game, just the entirety genre of dubstep.
Yes. Yes, when dubstep first popped onto the scene, I became so obsessed with it that people started calling me the dubstep doctor because I always had a song that would cure some kind of fix.
Dubstep Dan.
Yeah, I got way too big into dubstep when it came out. I'm a fan of dubstep. Come at me, bro. Kyle, would you say that again?
I want to say that that's a joke, but given that Dan is like an unabashed ICP fan, I don't know what to believe.
Woo-hoo. Yeah, no, that joke was so bad. I appreciate it because it was on the level of one of my jokes.
So,
which I don't even think you're gonna hear it.
So to answer your question about a recommendation shooting game to the top of the list for you, for me that game was Undertale. Like I had somehow totally missed the freaking like Undertale hype train. I wasn't aware of like any spoilers or anything. I was only like vaguely aware that the game existed. And then like 5 or 6 months after release, one of my friends in high school was like, "Hey, you should play this game." I'm like, "Okay, I trust you, and it's cheap. I'll play it." And what a freaking game! I know. Like Undertale is like overplayed now, but it's a very good game.
Yeah, I played it like a year or two ago, so it was like definitely I knew a lot of people because I was in high school when it came out, and that's like a very, you know, that demographic can find a lot to like in it, and so like the whole hype thing was just swirling around back then. So I think I really benefited from playing it like after that it all died down, and it's like, you know, I'm aware that that's in the background, but I can really judge this game on its own merits.
Did you go in knowing like spoilers for the different routes and everything, or no? Yeah,
I mean, it's hard to avoid that stuff, especially when like for a long time it wasn't something I was really interested in, so I wasn't making an effort to avoid it or anything. But that doesn't stop the game from being fun.
Yeah.
I can agree with your approach to Undertale and how you came to it. Although I am one of the very few people in the industry who has a dissenting opinion about that game.
Industry?
Yeah, I'm an industry insider.
I have 2 copies of that game, and I have not completed either one of them because I can just not care less.
Why do you have 2 copies of it?
Because I bought one on Steam when it was like first exploding, and I'm like, oh, okay, I'll give this a shot. And I much prefer controller over the WASD layout, over a keyboard layout. And then I saw that it came out on Switch. I'm like, okay, I'm going to beat it. I'm going to sit down. I'm going to dedicate my time to this game because I know it's just such a phenomenal masterpiece of a game. And I screwed up within the first like 10 minutes when you're fighting the flower, and I'm like, okay, what if I don't kill this dude? And it set me off on a different path. So immediately it started playing me on like the second version of the game after you've already beaten it, so it throws different twists and turns at you rather than if it was your first time playing it. And I got like stuck towards one when you're fighting like the king. I think it's like the second to last battle, and I just can't get past it. And then I just stopped playing because I'm like, I am not as impressed as everyone has let the hype train, you know, be. I feel like about the game.
If you were that far into the game, then like it's fine to stop. Like you're not. There's nothing in like the last 30 seconds of the game that's going to rapidly shift your perspective. You know.
Yeah,
wouldn't that be funny if that was the case though? Like, oh, God, I beat the game, and all of a sudden it's the greatest game ever.
Yeah, really. Like the only thing you're really missing is just like the fates of all the characters that you.
Yeah, the final fight, the ending. I stopped right before the ending, and I went, meh. No, that's okay. That's okay, Mang. I don't need to know the ending.
You probably got your money's worth out of it.
I'm only about 12% invested.
But that's another good topic for another episode. Is just stuff that like I don't get into it. Like
Undertale is the game that pretty much got me into the genre that I have sort of subtitled empathy games, or just games that like make you like really think about the decisions you make and how they affect the characters within the game.
Well, it's interesting. Like, Dan, you were saying you wanted to play Lisa, right? Or was that Dan?
Yeah,
I
that was
feel
me.
like Lisa was sort of Undertale before Undertale. Like, they're both taking influence from Earthbound. They're both trying to make it, you know, sad in its own way, trying to make you have empathy for these characters.
Right.
Only
Lisa
thing, Undertale
is
blew up a lot more.
Oh yeah, no, without a doubt. No, Lisa is a little more along the line of my kind of like humor. Like it's a little bit of a darker humor. I did like Undertale. I'm not saying it was a bad game. It definitely was a good game. It didn't capture me like it captured everyone else. Lisa was another one of the games where it was like, oh man, I'm actually invested in this game. It's very funny. And then it was another game where I got stuck at a section where I just absolutely could not get over the hurdle of the challenge I had to face, and the only option that I was left with was pretty much restarting the journey. And Steam, I don't believe this at all, but Steam says that I have played Lisa for 117 hours.
God.
I have a hard time believing that.
Secretly, Lisa has been data mining like Bitcoin on your laptop for like the last like however many.
You know, that wouldn't be the most surprising thing you could tell me about Lisa.
Yeah. It's got a killer soundtrack.
They've made $7,000.
Do you know what I've heard about that soundtrack? Is that like I think the composer for that is just the one developer for the game, but he made the entire soundtrack in like whatever program's free trial period. So he like rushed through all the music to get it done in like 7 days. And it's like people are like, this guy could be an amazing artist if he just wanted to pay for his software.
That's awesome.
I want like one game he does GarageBand, one game it's Audition.
He's probably actually bought it by now, but yeah, I thought that was very funny.
I would love to know how much time and effort he put into the Work Harder soundtrack.
Is that
game?
The one with the Shenmue sample?
I'm not gonna lie, that's a good workout song. You can get a good pump to that song.
A good pump to that song.
Yeah, if you're working ironically, or if you want an ironic twinge to your workout routine, play that song and you'll be like, it's good.
Yeah. So that about does it for our normal programming, but we do have some announcements to make, which is that we are rapidly approaching, maybe not as rapid as we would like, but still rapidly approaching the season 7 of the Seven Seas of All Systems Go.
Steven sucked it.
The Steven universe.
Lucky number 11.
Yeah, for sure. So season 7 is coming, whether you are ready or not. And we are getting ready because we've just had a new appointee for the leadership of the show.
Yes.
And who would that be, Jeremy?
Yes, do tell us.
Let me check my email. I think it said in there. It's me. Sorry.
Yeah.
Yes. So
okay. I'll be the only one who's actually excited. Okay.
Well, Dan, you didn't apply for it. Yeah, Darian is salty, I think.
Yeah.
I'm just joking.
It was only for the producer's role, right?
Right.
See, don't worry, Jeremy. I'm very happy for you. I hope you're doing a great job.
Yeah. Jeremy, you're gonna rock it.
Thank you.
I didn't want to submit my application because I knew it would knock you out of the running, and besides, I like being the monkey in front of the camera.
Well, that's very considerate of you.
No problem.
Yeah, so I have some big ideas on what we're going to do. I've been thinking about this for quite a while because I've worked on the show longer than anyone, really.
Yeah.
That's the simple fact of it. And so I've seen it in all of its forms. And
but I also was on the first episode of All Systems Go, Jeremy. Thank you.
Yeah, but no.
I was literally those first 2 seasons I was not involved at all.
Right. But yes, technically you were there on day 1, but starting with the new season, I will have outlasted anyone. So the point I'm trying to make, I'm not trying to brag. I'm just trying to say I've seen this show go through a lot of changes, and I think I have some ideas for some really exciting places we could take it, ways to shake it up. obviously we have to do that no matter what, because things are going to be different just because of the situation. It's what we have to deal with, but that doesn't mean we can't make a kick-ass show.
Exactly. I am very excited.
You know, I'm not really ready to talk about this stuff publicly, especially because I haven't consulted with Nicole about it. But
keep everything under wraps right now. We don't need to let everyone hear all the juicy details.
We're going to talk it over as cast members ourselves in the near future. And I just want all of us to bring your ideas, no matter how weird they may be. Nothing is too sacred.
Okay. First idea that we can do.
No, not on the air. We're doing this in private.
No. We all, in order to get around this whole social distancing pandemic thing that's going on in the world right now, what we do, our very first idea is we all move in to an apartment together that is way too small. Then we set up bunk beds in the living room, and that's where we live. And we have one bathroom. Someone's drawing
a line down the center of the apartment. This side is yours. This side is mine.
Exactly. And we shoot every single episode in the bathroom.
See,
that's the only free space.
Think of how cheap rent would be if like 6 or 7 of us all shared an apartment. We'd be paying like $20 for rent.
We would literally have a season where we could watch each other dive into mental distress. And the finale will be a murder mystery.
Wait. Yes. So we all live in one house and we film everything?
Yes.
Yeah, we set up cameras in all the rooms.
Dan, you reinvented the real world.
Yes, the real world, Big Brother, Survivor. Why not?
Instead of the real world, it's called the real systems.
So when All Systems Go comes back in proper, beyond this podcast, it's going to hopefully be some exciting stuff. I'm ready to blow it all up and start from the ground up.
Jeremy, you're not allowed to do
Nothing
that.
but game shows.
Yes.
Nothing but game shows.
Would you say nothing with game shows?
Nothing but game shows.
Oh, okay, good.
We use the news and we just launch right into the game show.
It's a quiz on that week's news.
For $1, name a female video game character.
Lisa.
The Tetris block that's a little bit curvy.
So
which one?
That's I'm afraid that it's going to be the end of this episode of All Systems Go Home. But yeah, please look forward to the future.
No.
We may be coming up with content even sooner than you may expect. Because, you know, our new overlord, Jordan, he wants us to get off the ground as much as we can, as fast as we can. And
don't forget our other overlord.
Oh, yes. Our other benevolent overlord, Alex Gray.
We can confirm will be on the show next week.
Well, at least the beginning of the show. I mean, she may leave halfway through because she is so freaked out. But, you know, we can't promise anything.
We try to be very welcoming to Alex.
Yeah, everybody be on your best behavior.
If you have any questions for Alex, send them to me on Twitter, and I will relay them to you, to her.
Good.
Yes. Also, keep up with Kyle's Twitter for up-to-minute Power Rangers impressions.
Yup. Should finish the next Power Rangers season in time for the next episode.
Actually, just go follow us all on Twitter because we all need more Twitter followers. We all post some pretty banging tweets, except I don't think Dan posts any tweets, but
I do not.
Kyle is out here, Jeremy's out here. I like to think I'm out here doing some good stuff.
Darian is an award-winning Twitter person.
Yeah, I do run our award-winning Twitter feed, so you know there's.
Yeah, I want you to double down on that stuff. But we have so much to talk about, so many exciting things, but we're going to have to leave you hanging just for now. So from all of us here at All Systems Go, have a terrific night, and wherever you are, stay safe. And your homework is to do something you've been meaning to do for a long time, whether that's kicking something off your backlog, or you gotta talk with a friend you haven't spoken with for a while, or you've always wanted to binge the entire series of All Systems Go Home. That's your homework. You do something you've been meaning to do.
Yes. Get it out of your system. Life is very short.
Exactly.
Do everything that you can now, because as you get older, things just start breaking.
Take it from a man with sciatica.
Yes,
Things start breaking.
And who spent 4 months straight in quarantine, and then as soon as I am like getting out of the house, all of a sudden my spine just goes. Get back in there. Get on the ground. Take an ice pack. Take 3 ibuprofen. Hate life. Yeah, it's been fun.
Well, sometimes your spine looks out for you better than you look out for yourself.
Yeah, don't be bitter and jaded like Dan.
Yeah, what can I say? My spine has always got my back.
And on that note, we're going to end it. Say goodbye, everyone. We're not extending this episode anymore.
Adios.
Wear a mask.
Yes,
Wear a mask.
Why are so many people out there not wearing masks? God